I was just told recently that I'm not a real black person. I'm not even part black person. I have no right because my skin color doesn't match. I was led to believe if I was somebody else, my life would be better. Put them on of yourself. Put them on of yourself.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you like that song that's playing in the beginning of this video, that's my song called The Tea, and it's streaming on all platforms live now. If you guys are interested in downloading that song, all the links in the description so that you guys can do that. As you see from above, we're going to be talking about race in 2020 and what I've already seen in the short 19 days of 2020. Can't go wrong with this beautiful notebook. I literally use it for all these videos. I have a bunch of notes that I want to go over because it's just things that I have been witnessing and experiencing myself throughout my life. So get some chips and enjoy this video. Guys, make sure you like this video also. It really helps the channel. Just trying to grow this year, which is going to be great, but I need you guys to all be part of it. So make sure you guys hit this thumbs up. The first thing I want to talk about is last week I saw a video on Twitter.
If she wants to say the N-word, she can, because I give her permission to as a privileged black girl.
Yes, and I'm a privileged white girl.
So I give her permission to say it, and yes, it is offensive, but it's not offensive to me in any way when she says it, and it's not harming me. So it shouldn't harm you either, because you're obviously not in her life. So shut the fuck up.
The girl of color allowed the white girl to say the N-word because she was technically black. So because she's black, she's allowed to say that.
Hey, so can we have like a house meeting?
Now, here's the thing. They're freshmen, they're young, but this is learned behavior. You don't just say, oh, my friend who's black can allow me to say this N-word because she's black. That's not how the world works. Now, the reason why I started with that was because I want to talk about how, for some reason, it is not okay for white people to say the N-word, but it is okay for black people or people of color. I don't understand it. I'm from a community that's very, very diverse. So I know a lot of people that use that word every day as friends, and I understand their view on it, but I also don't understand if a white person says it, they're not allowed to say it, but if a black person says it, it's okay. I think that whoever's saying it, it's a problem, and I think that a lot of these kids, yeah, it's the way that they communicate, and yeah, it's how they greet each other, but they're not understanding the root of the word. They're not understanding how long and how hard people of color like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all these people, Rosa Parks, all these people who fought so long to get that out of our vocabulary, and now we're using it every single day, even if it's in a friendly manner. If you're watching this and you do use that word, I want you to think twice about that. If you're going around saying it as a person of color, as a person who's black, you can't expect not everybody to be using it, even if they're using it as a friendly matter, even if a white person's using it as a friendly matter, you can't go around and get all pissed off. So one other thing about race and ethnicity, obviously hair. It's trendy right now. A lot of people are doing things with their hair and trying the whole natural look. But one thing for me is my personal story throughout all of this and about this stuff, it kind of hits me a different way because growing up, I was adopted by white people. I grew up in a household of people who are white, Hispanic, and me, myself, who's half black. I didn't know who I was growing up. I didn't know much about a lot of things. Hair was one of them. Now, my family tried really hard to keep up with my hair and try to do what they can do to make my hair as healthy as it possibly could be. Now, if you know me personally, you know I change my hair all the time. My hair is everything. Now, growing up, again, I needed my hair to look a certain way. I needed to be able to fit in. I needed my hair to be straight. I needed my hair to be curly because I was with these Spanish girls. So I thought my hair needed to be curly like these Spanish girls, that my hair is not that texture. Or when I started hanging out with white girls in high school and that's all I was around, I wanted my hair to be straight just like these girls. I didn't understand what it was to just live with my own hair texture, and that was a problem, and I don't think a lot of people talk about it. But when you're growing up, you're trying to figure out who you are, and if you just don't know who you are in a sense, like, I need to have my hair a certain way to fit in with this group of people. That's when society plays a huge part in black girls and their hair. I always wanted my hair to be a certain way depending on the group of people I was hanging out with so I could fit in more. There's a video where a girl got suspended because her hair was in braids.
And I was really happy to be celebrating my culture because I have white parents and it's really important to participate in the culture.
The 15-year-olds are two of 5 siblings adopted by Colleen and Aaron Cook.
So far, I have received multiple detentions. I am banned from the track team.
Policy specifically discriminates against African American children. The fact that it's in the handbook doesn't make it a non-discriminatory policy.
You can't tell someone that their hair is not professional. If a girl's wearing braids, if a girl's wearing twists, if a girl's wearing extensions, that's how people in our history wore it. I know growing up, I always had this problem of not knowing if my hair was professional. Everybody in my family is always like, hey, you need to wear your hair natural. But I'm like, you guys don't understand. Natural natural isn't accepted all around. I'm still self-conscious about my hair, depending on the setting, like how I need to wear it. The last place I worked at, a girl that worked with me, one day she came up to me, she was like, your hair looks cool. And she's like, oh, can I touch it? And I was like, sure. The reason why I knew she had no idea if it was weave or not was because she asked me after if it was real hair. I'm very middle ground. Some people just don't know about my type of hair. Sometimes it's ignorance, and honestly I feel like if you educate yourself you wouldn't ask stupid questions like that, but maybe to her it didn't feel stupid. I try to see it from both sides, but I also feel like there's a line you don't cross, and she crossed it. I'm not a foreign object. I'm not an alien with a crazy cap on my head. In order to just stop that, I feel like more people need to educate themselves. YouTube has 8 million videos. If you're curious about a black girl's hair, just Google it. So it made me very uncomfortable, and I was nice, so I was like, yeah, you can touch it, and I'm just laughing with her. And it didn't hurt my feelings, but it's just a very weird situation, and it's really hard to explain unless you're in that situation. There's discrimination within the black community. Discrepancy between skin color and how lighter is cuter or lighter is more beautiful. When I was growing up and I went to a school that was predominantly white, all the girls there wanted to go tanning so that they could look like my skin color.
Bruh.
A bunch of black girls that I knew also wish that they were my skin color. Me, I never wanted to be lighter and I never wanted to be darker, but the fact that I even have to say that out loud is concerning. I had a kid at my old after school I used to work at, and she used to always be like, you're so pretty, your skin color's so pretty, I wish I was your skin color. And she was 7. She thinks that you have to be lighter to be beautiful. You have to be lighter to be accepted in this world, and it's a problem. All skin colors are beautiful. If we are all just ourselves, there wouldn't even be a discrepancy. And right now there's a huge discrepancy and a huge problem within the black community because people want to be lighter and people think it's accepted and more professional to be lighter because of what society is putting out there and what is on the internet. It's okay to be dark. It is okay to be pale. It is okay to be tan. It is okay to be whatever color you are. In Dominican Republic and Haiti, people want to be a different skin color because they think it's more accepted. And the problem is, it is technically more accepted, more supported in the internet and social media and all these things, and it's a problem. It's okay to not all look the same. It's okay to just be who you are. This also goes into if you're black and you speak properly and you're educated, you're considered too white, or you're considered too white to be black, or how are you even black, or were you adopted by white people? I was the first to graduate college in my family. That meant I was educated. But because of that, a lot of people I grew up with, they say that I act white. And because I speak properly, I'm white. Just because I got my education and I can speak the right way doesn't mean that I'm white. It means that I'm educated. There's a person I worked with recently, and he was married to a white woman. He grew up in Brooklyn, and then he found his wife who's white and from Connecticut, and she's educated, but he was also educated. He was an educated young black man growing up anyways, even in Brooklyn. Because he got out of there and he goes back to see him sometimes, they all make fun of him and they all say like, oh, you know, you changed, you're dating white women now, you're white. And it's like, that's not how it works. Just because someone is educated doesn't mean they're white. I know so many white people who aren't educated, don't speak properly. Whoa. Just because someone speaks properly doesn't make them a color. It doesn't make them a race. And the problem with this world is everything goes back to one color. Another thing I want to talk about, I don't even want to get into police brutality because that's a whole nother video. There is one more thing I want to talk about, and it's just being watched because of the color of your skin. Whenever I would go out with my family, people would be like, is she adopted? Whatever. And I'd be like, yeah, like I'm adopted. But there was one time, there was an incident where I was in Claire's and I was with my mom, and I never stole when I was younger, ever. I was always so scared. My grandfather, my aunt, my mom, I will beat your ass if you steal something. So I never stole growing up. I walked out the store to go find my mom, and when I went out the store, the manager started chasing me, and I was like 7. I remember this. She's like, hey, did you take this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, this fell out of your pocket. And I'm like, I didn't even put anything in my pocket. I didn't even look at the thing that she brought out. And I was like, I didn't take this. There was nobody there to defend me. It was just me. That was my first time I ran into something because of what I look like. I wasn't trying to steal because I wanted to go back in there to have my mom go get me whatever I was looking at. And I ran to my mom and I started crying to her. Like, Mom, come on. She's like, don't worry about it, Riah. Like, we're going to go back over there, blah, blah, blah. We went back over there and the lady didn't say anything to me when I came back in with my mom. My mom is white. I think that was when it first hit me. Was it because of the color of my skin? Was it because of how I looked, how I was dressed? Maybe I was probably wearing sweatpants because that's all I wore growing up. I don't know. I still see it today. When I went to high school and I had a lot of friends of different races because I don't care about race. I don't care about any of that. You are a person, and if you're a decent human being, I'll be your friend. If you're not, I'm not your friend. Doesn't matter if you're Chinese, black, Indian. I don't care. When I was hanging out with my white friends, I was the darkest one. That's just how it was. And people would look at me different, always. And I felt it. And I was growing up trying to figure out who I was and where I could fit in, if I was Hispanic enough, if I was black enough, if I was white enough. I just never knew. Getting stared at wherever you go, it's exhausting. It takes a toll on you in ways that people just don't understand until it happens to them. History repeats itself. You'll fight for this battle and it'll change and it'll go back to that battle. My biggest thing is because I work with kids, I'm trying to start that conversation. I think it's important we all start that conversation. So if you know anybody that has been through something like this, or if you've been through this yourself, just not knowing where you fit in, whether you're white and you grew up in a place where it's predominantly black people and you've been told that you act black because you grew up in that place. Be able to stand up for yourself. Use your voice. Now I always stand up for myself. I'm not acting like anything anymore. I am who I am. Just because I got my degree doesn't mean I'm white. That means I'm educated. You should probably get it if you don't have one. Got it! But make sure you use your voice and stand up to people. It's gonna happen. You're gonna run into these people that are always gonna judge you no matter what you do. People are always gonna have something to say, but it's important for you to say who you are and be true to yourself. If you've been through something like this, make sure you guys comment. Please make sure you guys like this video. It really helps the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to stay real and don't change for anybody. Love you all. Bye-bye.